I'm going to take that as it's good. Again, really nice week of preparation. Guys are prepared. Hope and think better than last week. We've really just tried to lock in to the word focus, and we got to have 60 minutes of focus on Saturday. It's a good football team. Like I said earlier, they're talented, they're tough. Again, just they've got a different attitude about them, and like I like our football team to have. So it's going to be a battle up in Boston, and we're looking forward to traveling tomorrow early afternoon and heading up that way. So questions?
Do you worry about the team having any sort of maybe not being able to get past last week's loss or having anything mentally that they're struggling with right now?
I don't think so. You never know. I mean, nobody's 100%, sure, but, we talk a lot about the mind and making sure we're locked in, and, we do a good job on Sundays of flushing that game down the toilet and working on the next. So really not worried that way, and never am. So that's a good question, Amanda.
Pat, for an offensive coordinator that only has 3 games at a school, how far back do you go in terms of trying to get a sense of, with film and all that kind of stuff, trying to get a sense of what Cignetti does well?
You know what, you can't go far back, again, just because he was in the NFL, he wasn't calling it. You go back to Rutgers and look at some things at Rutgers. But, you're looking at, stuff coaches change every year, every day. So there's not a whole lot you can go back to. You can kind of know what he likes to hang his hat on. You talk to a few people about what he likes, and, we know some things that really just come out against quarters, football teams, and, but they're going to do what they do. I mean, I don't think they're going to change a ton. We'll find out on game day. But we can search, and, the thing I always talk about is, there's ghosts out there, and we can worry about the ghosts and cover all the ghosts. But if you do that, then you may not cover anything else. So we've got to focus on what they do, who they are. We know Zay Flowers and Hunter are going to be the 2 targets on one side of the ball. That's where Phil's going to, try to put the ball. It's who he's comfortable with throwing the ball. So we got to kind of know who and where those guys are. And on the other side of the ball, it's a lot of, man-to-man. You get down to the red zone, you're going to see a lot of pressure. So we prepared for, all those things. They play a little bit more cover 3 than they did at Ohio State. So we've watched a ton of football, and we'll be ready to go. And then we got to go execute and make plays.
With Cignetti, you guys don't dip into the old the 2009, 2010 Pitt vault that you got there?
I don't think so. Again, I don't think so. But there's things that he's, just like someone could say about me, there's things that Narduzzi's going to do, regardless if he's calling it or not. And then there's things that people are just going to fall back to because they love it, and you got to know, what they love, and you got to know that, their mind that way. And then, we got to play football.
Vincent Davis has kind of been the guy getting the most carries lately. I mean, are there some guys, are they pushing for some more carries behind him? They
are. I mean, Izzy, we want to put in the game, but I just don't want to put Izzy in when it's a run. Being a tailback, there's two really major parts to it. Okay. The number one part is, obviously be able to carry the football, but if a tailback comes in and is the only guy carrying the football, then, defenses will pick on that. He's got to be able to be really, really sound in protection. And Izzy probably would have had another 15, 20 reps last week had he not let, Kenny get hit the one time and, someone screaming through the B gap or whatever gap that was. So we just got to, you got to be sound in protection. We've focused on that this week, and we'd like to get him more reps. Todd Sibley's done a great job as well. I love that kid. He's great on special teams, and he's had a good week at tailback.
Pat, you mentioned on Monday that you're going to go live on the quarterback this week because of Djokovic's size. Who played him at practice this week, and how did that go?
It went really good. Nick Patty does an incredible job. He's been our scout quarterback for the last few weeks. But Nick, we got a lot of hard cadence from Nick. We've hit Nick. He's done he's my scout team player of the week right now. We'll see how that goes. But he, Nick Patty's done an incredible job. He can move, he can run, and he's a leader. So we had the right guy in that spot, and that's always critical every week of who's going to play what. When you start off on Monday, determining who's servicing you at those different spots. So he's done a nice job, and he's gotten hurt. So I mean, he's gotten hit quite a few times this week.
Pat, Dave Borbley was on with us a couple days ago and said they had the most physical, or yesterday had the most physical Tuesday, and feels good about building up the O-line from the ground up. What's the confidence you have on those guys kind of bouncing back and getting them where you want them to be?
I always have confidence. Again, I don't think the O-line is as bad as what you guys think it is when you talk about the confidence part of it. Our guys think they can run the ball. If someone's going to, crowd the box, then it's okay to throw for 500 yards. Like I said, last week we threw for more yards and rushed for more yards than, a team that was supposedly, and I don't look at all the stats, but I heard they were number 2 in the ACC in rushing yards, averaging 220 yards a game. So that's what I heard. I may be dead wrong, but I don't think North Carolina State's lost confidence in their run game either. I think, a game is what it is, and you just got to, take what they're giving you, really. I mean, that's kind of how it is. If they want to stack the box, then we're going to have some guys open, and if they want to, cover our guys and play cover 2 and drop a Mike linebacker in the middle of the field and play Tampa 2, then our run game should be better. So it all depends on how many guys you got to block up front. Coverages do matter. And, you still want to try to, you feel like you can still pop one and you're going to continue to go to it. But it's not always going to be successful. You have to keep working it and hitting it, and eventually things will pop.
We asked you on Monday, and just asking again with it being a day away, I mean, is there a sense of anxiousness getting on a plane, hitting the road for the first time?
Not really. Really, I'm not concerned about it. I don't think our kids are either. They haven't said, Coach, I don't know if I want to get on that plane. We've had none of that. Our kids feel safe. I think that's the most important thing. I mean, we went through the times when we were kind of like, on edge with someone testing positive and, being, a little scared because, ultimately, I mean, it's always a scary thing, but, I haven't heard anybody worry about it, for, since, way back. So our kids feel safe, and I think that's important. I feel safe. But, there's always out there, I've kind of warned them that, hey, we're going to Boston, and I told them everybody up there's got it. So just stay away from everybody. So we're going to be really safe. The hotel we're staying in, there's nobody else staying there except us. There'll be nobody, walking the hallways where you're running into someone as you walk to a meeting. So I feel good with that. And, we've been through this, we're not going to get COVID, at a pregame meal. I've heard some people say you're going to get it at a pregame meal. Our guys eat meals every day together. We have people serving us. They're wearing gloves, they're wearing masks. So are we. So the only time we don't wear a mask is when we're eating. They haven't made a mask where you can eat at the same time. So, that's probably coming. Someone's going to make some money if they can figure that one out.
Coach, what does that say about your boys with everything going on in the NFL? And I'm sure they are watching that. What does that say about them that they feel confident? What does that say about the protocols you guys have in place?
Now, really, again, I really don't know what's happening in the NFL either. Obviously because of Pittsburgh, and I've heard Tennessee had guys tested, and maybe 2 more yesterday. Is there more outbreaks? I don't know, just because I don't pay attention to it. Is there more stuff going on? You guys let me know.
There were more in Tennessee today. Yeah.
More in Tennessee today, and you look at the White House. I mean, one guy gets it, and the thing can spread. So, that's the scary part about the whole thing. All you need is one, and then all of a sudden it just gets, traced out, and then the next guy gets it. It just, just compounds on you. So we just got to continue to be safe. But, obviously our kids feel safe, and, it makes me feel good. I think we're doing the right things, and it's also the city of Pittsburgh. As much as we all want to, whine and complain that we don't have fans and all that, you got to give credit to the governor of just trying to keep everybody safe and not trying to open it up and pretend like things are normal, because it's not normal, and it's all understood.
Pat, following along that discussion, I just wanted to hear more from you, just to the trust that you've found in your players, because the Titans, part of what happened with them is that they practice off-site. at another spot when they were supposed to be quarantining. You're dealing with college students who are on a campus and they live in different parts of the city, and you guys have been able to maintain that. I think that I just wanted to hear more from you, just the trust that you have to not do things like that.
You guys are jinxing me. So you said they practiced at another site without the coaches? Without the coaches?
Well, that's another thing that's being investigated. But they have pictures of Titans players practicing at a high school field while they were supposed to be quarantining at home. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's an issue. Our guys aren't at any high school fields that I know of. I hope we work them enough out there that don't have to be. And again, we don't have anybody knocking on my wood desk here, that's in quarantine. So, we'll continue to just try to do the right things. And like I said, it's a constant reminder. I'm the babysitting head coach. I'm just continue to, just kind of, we talk about that way. The details, accountability, and doing it together. And it's so important that our guys just take care of our bubble, because one bad move, one selfish move can get you in trouble. And then we're all kind of sitting here. We won't be having a Thursday meeting. EJ will call up and cancel it, and there won't be any fun anymore.
Pat, in terms of injuries, obviously a handful of guys dealing with them, whether it was held out last week or guys exiting the game last week. Do you expect Addison and Keyshawn and Cam Bright and those guys to be available this weekend? I'll take it from Jerry.
That's Jerry. Man, Jerry probably got the inside scoop. I don't know. We'll find out game time. I don't. It'll be a game time decision for everybody. Even me. I'll see it's game time whether I'm going to be healthy enough. My calf was a little sore last Sunday, so see if I can go.
So Pat, what you're saying is that if even if they don't play Saturday, you think at some point later in the season they might be able to play?
Yeah, Jerry, I would tell you if somebody was out, then I would tell you that no, not even close to that. Feel pretty good.
Do we have any final questions for this week?
Yeah, Pat, you're facing a quarterback in Djokovic who's really good at extending plays. What do you instruct your secondary when they might have to guard guys for, double what they normally would? How do you deal with that?
Scramble, lock on. I mean, when he starts to scramble, we have to lock on our receivers regardless of what your responsibility is. If there's a receiver in your zone, your area, you got to lock on. And, we got to try to make sure Phil's throwing that ball on his scrambles in the tight windows. We can't give him wide open balls because he can sling it. The ball is flying through the air. Phil is a competitor. He's tough. He's athletic. He's the key to the game as far as our defense goes. And then again, tied along with Zay Flowers and Hunter.
Pat, did you see a little different demeanor from your team this week than maybe you might have seen after previous defeats in other seasons?
You know what, Jerry? It's a good question, but put it this way: I've given up as a head coach trying to evaluate the demeanor. Okay, the only thing I've seen different this week was I told you Sunday was like they were locked in. Okay, I gave you the demeanor. Now I feel really good about that just because they were serious, and I feel like anytime it hurts, you're going to try to get rid of the pain. But other than that, I mean, there's days I've thought they were flat pregame and then we go kill somebody. There's times where I thought they were sky high and then all of a sudden we didn't do anything. So as a coach, sometimes, trying to read feelings, it's really hard. I mean, you just don't know. You don't know what's in their minds at times. And, that's, again, it's at every level, whether it's, Pop Warner, or college football or the NFL. I mean, it's you can sit there for years. We've always there's times in pregame I'm like, I don't think they're ready. I mean, seriously, you say it all the time. I mean, I could tell you that every game. Like, man, you look at everything and you're trying to evaluate. You try to make assumptions, but you don't know. So is it the calm before the storm? I mean, there's times where you just don't. You have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not beating around the bush, but we're all guessing. I think that makes sense. It's true.
Pat, were you able to come up with anything to kind of coach your guys up a little bit on the pass interference stuff? And is that something that you worry could be something teams attempt to exploit in the future?
teams will continue to exploit that. And, you know, I feel like we're pretty good in coverage, guys. We will try to and see if we're successful. We'll see how good Coach Collins is, you know, our corners coach, and Coach Saunders, of trying to make sure a 220-pound receiver doesn't just, you know, stiff arm your shoulder and push off and come, you know, hit a back shoulder fade. You know, it's hard to run with a guy, cover a guy, and also try to, you know, knock his arms down from pushing him. I think that's something that the officials have to control. You know, it goes both ways. But we've worked our tail off on it. If they aren't going to call it, then we got to be better at it, period. So that's kind of our mindset is, hey, let's coach against it. But there's certainly no question in my mind that there will be fades being thrown up Saturday for sure. You know, then there'll be posts thrown up. I mean, he likes to throw the ball in the middle of the field as well. So, you know, we kind of know they're going up. That, you know, I always feel that anytime you haven't, you know, stopped something, you know, they're coming. Okay. And then we got to prove that we can stop them.
I mean, your defense has always kind of left those corners somewhat exposed, but do you think the skill and ability of your safeties this year is causing some opponents to maybe take less risks in the middle of the field and look outside even more than normal?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it at all. You know, they're always, I mean, coaching defense for a long time, they're always going to take shots at our corners. They can always, regardless of your safeties, regardless of the you know, the alignments, the formations, it doesn't matter. You know, they're gonna find ways to get to your corners. They know, you know, people know how to dictate where people are. Anytime number 2 goes vertical, if you're in your base stuff, you know, just like anybody, you know, we know how to dictate, you know, off a cover 1, you know, which is, you know, formation or a coverage that Boston College likes to run. You kind of know the weaknesses of it and the strengths, and you're gonna take shots at our corners. You know, the big thing I talk about is you got to win at the line of scrimmage first, because, you know, been around a lot of defenses regardless of the corners, and if you win at the line within the first 10 yards, then you have a chance to win down the field. You know, if you're just, you know, running with a guy from the line of scrimmage and getting no hands on or not making sure he's running around you, then you're going to have issues. You know, we want to mess up the timing of the throw. They could be 2 yards open, you know, and you guys go, oh, it's overthrown. Okay. Overthrown ball doesn't mean the corner didn't cover it. It can be overthrown and the receiver can have us beat by 2 yards, and it's great coverage because we won at the line of scrimmage. So that's all one of those, you know, things that we look at is you got to win at the line, and we worked hard on that as well.
Pat, do you ever have any pre-game conversations with the officials in regards to the PIs and to get a sense of how they're going to call it?
You know, it's another great question, Jerry. You're full of great questions today. I think I might ask them this week, are you calling offensive pass interference? You know, and ask them, if you're not calling it, then I'll tell our guys to push off too. So I may just have that conversation this week for the first time ever. I've thought about it. Like, hey, what are you guys calling today? What are you not calling? You just ask them. But you know, unfortunately, I'm only talking to the referee, the umpire, and the other guys. You know, they're going to do what they want to do out there.